A bird in a laboratory ignores its own egg to sit on a giant painted stone. It is starving, but it cannot look away from the perfection of the fake. You are that bird. Your world is full of painted stones, and you are losing your life trying to hatch them. For 300,000 years, your ancestors survived by following a specific set of biological rules. These rules were forged in the heat of the savanna and the ice of the tundra. Evolution is a slow, methodical sculptor. It takes thousands of generations to chip away at a single trait. But our world changed in the blink of an eye. The Industrial Revolution arrived just 250 years ago. The digital revolution showed up only 30 years ago. On an evolutionary timeline, that is a fraction of a second. You are running ancient software on modern hardware, and the system is starting to crash. We call this the evolutionary mismatch. It is the reason you feel anxious in a safe room and hungry in a land of plenty. Your DNA thinks you are still a hunter-gatherer living 10,000 years ago. It has no idea what a smartphone is. Let us look at your anxiety. You call it a disorder, but your ancestors called it a superpower. Imagine a rustle in the tall grass. It might be the wind, or it might be a predator waiting to kill you. If you assume it is a lion and run, you live. If you assume it is the wind and you are wrong, you die. Psychiatrist Randolph Nesse calls this the false alarm logic. Our internal alarm system is set to be hypersensitive. In the wild, a false positive costs you a little energy. A false negative costs you your life. Evolution did not care if you were happy or relaxed. It only cared that you survived long enough to pass on your genes. But today, there are no lions in the grass. There are only emails from your boss and notifications on your screen. Your brain cannot tell the difference between a social rejection and a death sentence. To the ancient software, being left out of the tribe meant certain death. When your heart races because of a comment on the internet, that is your survival mechanism misfiring. Your body is preparing for a physical fight that will never happen. We are drowning in cortisol because we are reacting to digital shadows as if they were physical threats. The alarm is screaming, but there is no fire. But it gets stranger. The mismatch is not just in your head, it is on your plate. For most of human history, calories were the most precious resource on Earth. Sugar and fat were rare signals of high energy and survival. If your ancestors found a beehive, they ate every drop of honey. They had to. They didn't know when they would find food again. This created the thrifty gene. We are biologically programmed to consume as much as possible whenever high-energy food is available. But the environment changed. We moved from scarcity to a world of engineered abundance. Food scientists now use a metric called the pleasure threshold. This is the precise mathematical ratio of salt, sugar, and fat designed to override your brain. They have created hyper-palatable foods. These are substances that do not exist in nature, designed to keep your leptin signals from telling you to stop. Your body thinks it is preparing for a winter that never comes. It is hoarding energy for a famine that will never happen. For the first time in 300,000 years, more people are dying from too much food than too little. The trap has closed. We are biological machines designed for a world that no longer exists. And the people selling you products know exactly how to exploit that. Consider your social life. For eons, humans lived in small tribes of 50 to 150 people. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar discovered that our brains are physically limited to this number. We can only track about 150 stable relationships. Within that small group, your status was everything. If you were the lowest member, you got the worst food and the least protection. Today, you are not comparing yourself to 100 neighbors. You are comparing yourself to 8 billion people. You wake up and look at a global highlight reel of the top 1%. Your brain perceives this as your immediate social circle. It sees the private jets and the perfect bodies, and it sends a signal of total failure. It tells you that you are at the bottom of the tribe. This triggers the same biological stress as being an outcast. You feel a deep, haunting loneliness because your software doesn't recognize digital connection as real. Real connection requires physical proximity and shared scent. It requires eye contact that releases oxytocin, the chemical of bonding. Digital interaction provides dopamine, the chemical of seeking. You feel full of information but socially malnourished. But the worst part is the way we have captured our own attention. We are falling for the bottomless well. Asa Raskin invented the infinite scroll to make the internet more seamless. He later expressed deep regret for what he had done. The infinite scroll exploits a psychological mechanism called the variable ratio schedule. It is the same logic that keeps people sitting at slot machines for hours. You pull the lever, or you swipe the screen. Most of the time, you get nothing. But occasionally you get a hit of dopamine. This unpredictability is the most addictive force in the human psyche. It turns your phone into a supernormal stimulus. A supernormal stimulus is an exaggerated version of reality. It is a fake egg that looks better than a real one. Pornography, video games, and social feeds are versions of reality that have been stripped of their friction. They offer rewards without the effort evolution requires. Why forage for hours when you can order a burger in seconds? Why seek a partner when you can swipe through 1,000 faces? We are overstimulating our reward centers until they go numb. We are losing the ability to find joy in the mundane because the mundane cannot compete with the hyper-real. This mismatch is making us physically ill in ways we are only beginning to understand. We call them the diseases of civilization. Take your eyesight. Human eyes evolved to scan the horizon for predators and prey. Now we spend 90% of our lives indoors. We stare at objects less than 3 feet from our faces. Our eyes are literally changing shape because they are not being used for what they were designed for. Myopia is an evolutionary protest. Look at our immune systems. We evolved in a world of dirt, parasites, and bacteria. Our defenses were always on high alert. Now, we live in sterile boxes. We use antibacterial soap and filtered air. The hygiene hypothesis suggests that our immune systems have become bored. Without real enemies to fight, they have started attacking the body itself. Autoimmune disorders are the result of a highly trained army with no war to fight. The soldiers are shooting at the shadows. Even our sleep is being hijacked. Our master biological clock is a cluster of cells called the SCN. It is tuned to the blue light of the morning sun. It tells the body when to wake up and when to repair itself. But we have surrounded ourselves with artificial suns. Our screens trick the SCN into thinking it is noon when it is midnight. We live in a state of permanent social jet lag. We are tired but wired, drifting through a world that never goes dark. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are a masterpiece of survival standing in the middle of a shopping mall. The anxiety you feel is a ghost of a lion. The hunger you feel is a ghost of a famine. The loneliness you feel is the ghost of a tribe that is no longer there. You are a biological anomaly. So how do we survive the trap? We cannot change our DNA, but we can change our environment. We must reintroduce scarcity. We must choose to put the phone in another room and sit with the silence. We must limit our comparison. We must curate our digital tribes to reflect the scale of our actual brains. We must seek the physical. We must stand in the sunlight and move our bodies in the ways they were meant to move. When you feel that spike of panic, name it. Tell yourself that your smoke detector is just oversensitive today. When you reach for the engineered sugar, recognize the pleasure threshold. Know that you are being hunted by a chemist. We are the first generation of humans who must consciously engineer our own survival. We must build a fence around our ancient instincts. The world will continue to get faster and louder. The painted stones will get brighter and more tempting. But now you see the mechanism. You see the glitch in the system. You are no longer just a bird sitting on a stone. You are the observer of the laboratory. The game is rigged, but you are the only player who knows the rules. You can see it now. What happens next is on you. You will be deciding it awake.